Okay folks, welcome back to the Long Dark. You join me where we left off in Trapper's Cabin, our brilliant base. It's actually a really good base. I've never used Trapper's Cabin as a base building before, but it's actually not too bad. And we've got lots of stuff stockpiling up in here. Look at this. I always like looking at my stash. That's why I don't put it in containers. That's why I lay it out so I can see it. Look at what we've got. It's all pretty cool. So this has all come from Mystery Lake, apart from one or two things that we brought with us or found on the way. This has all come from Mystery Lake. So looking pretty cool. Is that a piece of cloth up there? It is. Okay, so yeah, we've got loads and loads of stuff in here. So what we're trying to do, we're going to go around, we're going to gather everything we can from Mystery Lake. We're going to bring it all here. We're also going to see if we can do a bit of crafting while we're here. We've got a wolf pelt already curing away and some gut curing away, and we've got some saplings as well. So that's all stuff we can use for crafting. Hopefully we can actually do the crafting here rather than dragging it all back to the Grey Mother's house. That will be useful, but if we have to, we have to. That's the goal. That's the challenge we've set ourselves. We're going to use the Grey Mother's house over in Milton as our primary base, and it's a bit of a tricky place to use as a base for the overall world. It's not very central. It's out on one side, and that's part of the reason why I've done it, just to add a bit of extra challenge. We're going to haul everything from every region back to the Grey Mother's house. So we're starting with the easy one, Mystery Lake, which links directly to Mountain Town, Milton. So hopefully we can keep ourselves going for many days and hit our 100-day goal in this series, which we've still never managed to do. But anyway, today, I'm rambling too much. Today we are going to head out and we are going to go, and I don't really know what to do, to be honest. I think I'm going to head over to Unnamed Pond, and I think I'm going to do some hunting. So let's pick up my rifle. And I've only got 2 rifle cartridges over here. Unless have I got some more in this cupboard? I might actually have some more in this cupboard. Oh, I have. Excellent. Well, we'll take that then. And I also have a rifle cleaning kit. At the moment it's 60%, so that's not too bad. So we'll think about that later. So let's just break the rifle out and let's just load it. I think that's going to load all of our bullets into it. It's quite a slow process, this. There we go. So we're fully loaded now. Let's holster that. Let's be carrying it around. Okay, as we're walking over to Unnamed Pond, I'll talk about the rifle in the Long Dark. It's early morning here as well, by the way. It was pretty nice weather. Because we have some deer running about. That always makes me nervous. There's a wolf over there, which I'm hoping is the reason why. I'm hoping I'm not going to walk around here and come face to face with the bear, because that would just suck. Okay, let's walk over to Unnamed Pond. What's the temperature like? -3. Oh, that's okay, actually. It's not too bad. Okay, so let's head up towards Unnamed Pond, which is up this way. Well, sort of up this way. There's a couple of different routes we can take to go around all these obstacles, but we'll go down this way. So yeah, the rifle in the Long Dark. If you've never played the Long Dark before, the rifle is not a first-person shooter. That's one thing to bear in mind. The rifle is not a kind of just point, shoot at everything kind of thing. Spray the area with bullets like you would do in a normal first-person shooter. It is very selective. It is a hunting weapon. It is designed for you to literally just take shots very selectively. There's not a lot of ammunition in the game. As you could see, it was very slow to load as well. It's not a very fast loading rifle, so you can't reload it quickly. It isn't really intended as a defensive weapon. So it's not really a rifle as you'd find in a first-person shooter. It's not intended for you to just kind of pick up, grab and shoot everything in sight like you would do in, say, Fallout 4 or another first-person shooter. It's very selective hunting weapon. So you literally try and take shots when you intend to bring a target down. So you use it when you're trying to hunt deer, if you're trying to bring the bear down, or if you're trying to bring a wolf down very deliberately. You don't want to waste bullets because there are really not that many in the game. As you can see, I've got about 7 bullets there. That's all I'm probably going to find on this map. Unless we are very lucky, we are not going to find any more than that. So Okay. I was not expecting that. I was kind of expecting to have to go to Unnamed Pond, but there is a deer. So let's show you how this works. I'm not the best at hunting, I have to be honest with you. I'm really not the best at it. You have to be reasonably close. If you're too far away, it won't work. It's not a particularly good ranged weapon. You have to be pretty close. But if you move too much or you move too quickly or you get too close, the animal will run away. So you have to be pretty careful when you're hunting. I'm probably being a bit too careful, but that's just because I've had so many failures when I'm hunting. It's ridiculous. There we go. That's pretty cool. That's good. Oh! I was probably just a bit too far away there. That's probably what went wrong. It's not going to run very far though. No blood trail, so I didn't hit it at all. It's probably not going to run too far. Oh no, it's running a bit further. Darn it. Okay, let's go round and we'll head to Unnamed Pond. I can't remember if it's over that hill or over this one. We'll find it. It's either that way or this way. So if I pop over this hill and I don't see it, and I'm going the wrong way. Oh, oh, ah! In fact, I think if I bear round to the left here, we're going to get to Unnamed Pond. That, you see, that's the problem with hunting in the Long Dark. It's really quite tricky. It really, really is quite tricky. You have to be patient. So we've wasted a bullet there. Okay, I'm just going to stay here. If I can get a little bit closer. That is a deer, isn't it? That's not a moose, that is a deer. I haven't encountered the moose yet. Okay, we'll try again. And that's a hit. There we go. Deer down. Perfect. So it's very selective. You can't just spray and pray like you would in the first person shooter. It's a very, very selective weapon. You have to be very careful with it. Okay, so standard tactics that I've explained previously. I'm going to light a fire next to the carcass, and the reason I do that is twofold. Actually, am I going to bother? -2. No, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to quarter it. Doesn't really matter which one I use. It's going to take me an hour to quarter the carcass. I don't think you lose anything by quartering it. Perfect, there we go. So we've quartered the carcass. So we now have 4 deer quarters that we can pick up and carry. And we have a hide and we have the gut. So we're very smelly at the moment, so we're really going to be attracting wolves here. So we need to get ourselves back.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
We're also encumbered. How badly encumbered are we? Ooh, very encumbered, but we can still move, so that's not a problem. Let's go for it. We're not that far away from Trapper's Cabin, so I'm hoping, I'm taking quite a risk here. I'm carrying an awful lot of meat. I'm very smelly, so I'm very attractive to wolves and everything else. And I'm pretty badly encumbered, so I'm not going to be able to sprint. I'm not going to be able to sprint, and I'm also going to find it harder to fight. Might as well get rid of the rifle because it's no use to me. Again, the rifle is not a very good defensive weapon either. If you want to try and hit a wolf with it, if the wolf's attacking you, it's really not very straightforward to do. There's a cabin there. Have I gone the wrong way? Oh no, I've gone the wrong way. I'm actually heading to Clear Cut. I've gone the wrong way. I've headed into Clear Cut by mistake. Let's head up the hill. So the rifle is a very selective weapon. It's not just a pick it up, point, shoot at everything kind of weapon like you'd find in a first person shooter. It's a very selective weapon. You need to make each shot count. There's not very much ammunition in the world. I've got 7 bullets there, and that's probably all I'm going to find on Mystery Lake. So you really need to make each shot count.
My stomach is eating itself.
You need each bullet to find the target, if you can. Bring down deer. Deer is the normal target. wolves if you can, but hitting wolves is very tricky, and obviously the bear if you want to bring down the bear and hunt the bear as well. But the bear will take about 5 or 6 shots to bring it down, so something to bear in mind. Literally. That wasn't a pun, by the way. Wolf down there is hunting rabbits. Okay, so I accidentally went the wrong way when I came back, so I'm walking over the top of the ridge here, heading back down towards Trapper's cabin. From this direction. Hopefully we should be okay. Hitting wolves with the rifle's tricky. If they're attacking you, they dodge it. They actually physically dodge it. They walk or they weave. It makes it really hard to hit them. So really, don't rely on using the rifle as a defensive weapon against wolves, because it just doesn't work unless you're really good or really lucky. Ah, what? I was just walking along. How did that happen? That's probably because we're really heavily encumbered. We're carrying so much weight. It makes it more likely for us to injure ourselves. So I definitely can't sprint now. So slow and steady wins the race here. But we've done pretty well. We've got an entire deer. We've got all the meat. We've got the hide and the gut. The whole thing weighs about 20 kilos to carry back, though. That's the only slight downside. So if you're any further than we were there from a building, any building, it doesn't have to be your base. You can use any building, sort yourself out, and then carry things back to your base in stages. But we've just come all the way back to the base with all this meat. There we go. So we are now back. We've done our first hunting expedition. We brought down our first deer. And we are back in Trapper's cabin. So, sprained ankle. I need to drink some reishi mushroom tea. I think it's... no, it's is it rosehip tea? Yes, it's rosehip tea, sorry. Well, let's drink that, because that will sort out our affliction and give us some calories. There we go. So, we now need to process these deer quarters that we're carrying. But first, let's drop all of the things that we've got with us. So we have a deer hide. And we have some more gut that we can now lay out to cure. That's the only thing about Trapper's cabin is there isn't very much space. There we go. Okay, so we've got a deer hide, we've got a wolf pelt, we've got some gut that's all curing away. So that's all looking pretty good. So we now need to process the bags of meat that we picked up. So if we go into food, we can see all the carcasses. Now that we're in the safety of our building, we can now go and harvest it. We're going to get a couple of key. I think you do lose a little bit of meat if you quarter it rather than harvesting it right there and then, but we can live with. I can live with that. Harvest. So we're now going to break these deer quarters down into meat, and then we'll cook the meat. What do you mean nothing to... Oh, is that one of the... Oh, there is stuff to harvest. I just forgot to select it. There we are. So there you go. That was a high-speed version of hunting. So we've gone out, we've hunted our first deer. We quartered it, which is the most sensible way to collect the meat and everything else from the deer, although it does mean carrying an awful lot of weight back, but I took that chance. And we've now converted those quarters into pieces of meat, steaks that we can cook. So we're now going to go ahead and do that. So let's, before we do anything, we'll drink. I'm not too bothered about the fact that our hunger level is dropping our condition, that's fine. And we're going to pick up plenty of this reclaimed wood from the fire there. So let's get ourselves started using a book, some birch bark and some matches just to get our fire going again. We'll take the charcoal before we start. And let's get a fire lit. And we're going to have a good long fire here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to cook all of this meat.
Come on, little fire.
Ah. Okay, let's try that again. I'm running out of birch bark as tinder now. There we go. Please light. Please light this time.
Wait, that didn't work.
Well, this is going well. Let's switch to wood matches. It only increases our chance slightly, but we'll give it another try. This does happen occasionally. You'll end up with a situation where you just cannot get fires to light for a period, and then eventually it will
Come on,
work.
little fire. Come on.
As your fire starting skill increases, this is less likely to happen. Fires will... Well, you'll get to a certain point with your fire starting skill where it'll be virtually 100% chance of it lighting. But this is a relatively new game for us. We're only 14 days into it, so doesn't surprise me that we're struggling. Okay, let's get all of this reclaimed wood on there. We need a good fire. In fact, let's give ourselves a 5-hour fire. That should do the trick. Right, let's get cooking. We've got a lot to cook. This might actually work out quite nicely. It might well be night time by the time that we finish cooking. This should also boost our cooking skill up quite well because we've got quite a lot to cook here. It's a bit repetitive. It's a shame that you can't just sort of select multiple things to cook in a big long sequence, but it is the way it works. I like to do this. Other people have different survival strategies, different ways of dealing with meat and things. This is how I prefer to do it. I like to gather all my meat together from a harvest and then cook it all up in one big go, one big session. Get it all done. And then I'll use the meat as my food source for until it runs out. Basically, I won't use any of the other food. The other food keeps better than meat does. Meat goes off very quickly, and that's something else that's changed since the game first came out. Meat goes off a lot more quickly now than it used to, which is a bit more realistic when you think about it. In real life, meat goes off quite quickly, whereas tinned products and things don't. So. Not bad at all. So it's a bit of a balancing act. You don't want to bring down too many deer in one go. You don't want to go out and you don't want to hunt 6 deer and have 6 deer's worth of meat, because you're not going to be able to use it up before it spoils. So again, it's about managing your resources. So we brought 1 deer down. I'm not going to go and hunt another deer now until I need to. Okay, we're coming up to night time then. So I'm going to take this herbal tea because that does give us some calories, and it also gives us better rest. I don't know exactly what that real benefit from that is. I think it helps your condition increase better whilst you're sleeping. There we go. So let's go ahead then and eat our fill of meat. So I'll eat enough to get my calorie store all the way up to the top. That was only a small piece. I'm going to eat enough to get my calorie store all the way to the top, or as near as, damn it. There we go. And then we want to drink. We haven't got much water here, but we've got plenty in our stash, so that's not a problem. Okay, so we're in pretty good shape now. So we've got full stock of food, we've got a full stock of water and everything else in our thing. So let's try and sleep then. I'm going to try and do the 8-hour sleep, see how far we go. This will take us through the night, hopefully through to the following morning. So we've done pretty well. We've done our first hunting expedition, brought down our first deer. I am now going to carry on. We'll see if it'll let us do another couple of hours. Nope. So we're going to have to pass time. Let's pass time for 2 hours then. Hopefully we won't dehydrate. Basically just want to get through to the following morning. That's what I'm aiming to do. Let's drink let's drink one of these sodas. That will give us some fluid and some calories as well, which hopefully will just let me get through to the following morning. That's my goal, just so I can get through to daylight. So we've done pretty well. We brought down our first deer, we've harvested it, we've brought it back here. We're not quite through to daylight. We're nearly there, but we're not quite there. Yeah, so we brought down our first deer. We've made it through here. I'm not quite ready just to wrap this up just yet. Is there any housekeeping or things we can do? We've got plenty of food now. I think I could probably do with stashing some of that. It's just one of these problems that it's really dark. But I don't want to waste light sources. There we go. Right, let's bring up the food then. Let's order it by condition. And let's get rid of some of the food that we're carrying. We won't be carrying quite so much. So let's get rid of all of the meat. Put it into that container. I still want to head over to Unnamed Pond. I think that might be where I go next. The original plan was to go and hunt at Unnamed Pond. Obviously, we brought a deer down away from Unnamed Pond. We don't want to bring another deer down till we've used all this meat up, or it will spoil before we can use it. So I'm not going to bring another deer down just yet. But what I want to do is head over towards Unnamed Pond, see if there's any natural resources, reishi mushrooms, rose hips, anything like that we can gather. There's also a cabin not very far past Unnamed Pond, so I'm going to head that way, and we'll loot that cabin. Then we'll think about coming back this way and seeing how we're doing, and then it's going to be the logging camp, the old forestry lookout. There might be a few odds and ends up there, and the dam. So they are about the only locations left that we haven't gone through on Mystery Lake yet. So we are doing pretty well going through Mystery Lake. There's plenty of things that we've been bringing together. So yeah, we're not looking too bad. If we just have a quick look at our journal, just to kind of see where we are. So we're on day 14, literally just ticked into it. So we're in pretty good shape. Let's just we'll have a quick look at the stats. I like to keep reviewing these as we go through. So 12 full days survived. We've been through 23 locations, 13% of the overall world. We've travelled 30 kilometres. We have spent most, obviously, of that time indoors. We haven't actually slept at all outdoors yet. We haven't had to, so we've done pretty well. We've been 6 days in Mystery Lake. We had, what was it, 6 days in Mountain Town? So we've actually now been in Mystery Lake as long as we were in Mountain Town, and I think that shows the difference. Over in Milton, we looted Milton very, very quickly because it isn't as widespread. Everything's quite close together, and there wasn't really that much for us to go through. So it's quite a small region compared to Mystery Lake, which is much bigger. We've done quite a lot more here on Mystery Lake. So I think we're probably going to be in Mystery Lake possibly for another 5 or 6 days before we're ready to think about moving stuff back to Milton. And then obviously it will take a few trips to get everything back to Milton. So we've got plenty to keep ourselves occupied with. I haven't made any notes. We still haven't found any of those cairns. I am assuming there are some scattered around on every region, so I really don't know where they're going to be though. Skill wise, cooking's leveled up, so that's doing pretty well. We're now getting 10% more calories from cooked food. That's always good. Firearm skill is increasing. I've only fired it twice though, and I missed with one of them, but that's fine. I read one of the books, that's where that's come from. Mending skills also increasing, fire starting's also increasing, so everything's starting to increase now. The only thing we haven't done is any ice fishing or archery because we haven't got a bow and arrow. Ice fishing I think is what we're potentially going to look at. So actually yes, I might go and do some fishing next actually, rather than heading to Unnamed Pond. I'll have a think, we'll see what we're going to do next. But right now I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me in the Long Dark.
Almost anything about now.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have a drink in a minute. Thank you so much for joining me in the Long Dark. Really hope you like the playthrough. If there's anything you want to see, any challenges you want to throw down, go ahead, drop them in the comments below. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Join me for some more Long Dark, and we've got plenty more coming up in series play. Series play is going to be Long Dark until we get to the end of this series. Then we'll start up with something new. Gameplay is the other series that we've got going, and there's going to be a bit of a mixture of different things in gameplay that's coming up. No, I'm not calling it random play. Originally was going to call it random play, I'm not calling it gameplay. Retro play is also coming as well, so there's plenty that we've got lined up. But right now, thank you so much for joining me for the Long Dark. I shall see you again very, very soon.